Alright, and welcome back. It is Dorkness Inc. It is time to continue with our look at the Saurian Starhost. Now, first we need to finish out the core. Unfortunately, we did not have room for the last two, so we're going to start today off with those. First, we have the Cyber Swarms, which might be the cutest thing I've ever seen. Small turtle and dinosaur robots and snakes it's without a doubt one of the most adorable little things I have ever seen. They come in packs of 3. They've got your fearless, your strider, they're tough 3. They each get 3 attacks with poison, so you know it's a pretty solid way to deal with little things out in the corners of the maps. They do have a quality and defense of 6, so they are going to get absolutely annihilated, but sometimes you don't need them to win. You just need them to kind of hold up, mostly so that other people can't get something else that they need done. After that, we're looking at the Dragon Lizard. That is the last core unit. Our friend the Dragon Lizard has a quality of 4 and a defense of 3. Fearless, furious, fearless, strider, tough 6. So he's a little beastie. He's got his heavy claw, 3 attacks at an AP of 1, and a flame burst for 12-inch range. 2 attacks, 1 AP, blast 3, and reliable. So you're hitting on 2s and you've got a blast weapon. That's not bad. He can also have an upgrade to make him a lizard handler, which I assume is where you put one of the little smaller lizard folks with him, and now he gets predator. So that's a pretty solid way to do it. It makes it nice and simple. So I absolutely adore these little guys. The Dragon Lizard and his little handlers they're just so adorable. They really are. I like the Dragon Lizard's design a lot. One of the few models from this range I actually really don't like is our next model, which is the spiked lizard. I can appreciate it for what it is. I just don't like the design. I don't like the idea of the spikes on the back of this thing being a rocket and then it firing them off. It just doesn't quite sit right with me. I can appreciate it for what it is. I just don't particularly like it. Now, having said that, its status puts it at a quality of 4 and a defense of 2+ with Fearless Strider and 6 toughness. Its arching rockets attack for 2. They have blast of 3 and they have indirect, allowing you to tuck this fella behind something and just send him flying. He has a heavy claw, 3 attacks and AP of 1, and like the Dragon Lizard, he can also have a handler. If you give him a handler, he gets predator. Alright, so we are officially into the vehicles and monsters. We started with the Spike Lizard, which isn't a huge hit with me, but our next one, this is one of the reasons I originally found the Starhost and one of the reasons I love them so very much. Just in trying to describe this model to my son made me realize how much I love it. It is the Triceratops. Now the Triceratops is a massive, expensive creature. He's got a quality of 4, a defense of 2. He has fear 2, fearless, and tough 12. He gets 4 attacks for a stomp with an AP of 1. His gecko crew gets a range 18, 6 attacks with an AP of 1. And his horn gets 6 attacks with rending. But where he gets interesting is you can do some upgrades for it. So you can replace the normal gecko crew with a carrier platform with a gecko priest. So you get to have your gecko crew attack, but you also become a caster too. That is a fantastic thing to be able to do, but if you were going to take a Triceratops, I feel like you owe it to yourself to take either the rocket launcher or the missile launcher. The heavy rocket launcher adds the 24-inch, 4 attack, blast 3, AP 1 indirect. So you can just set him somewhere and let him fire at wherever you need him to fire. You can also take the heavy missile launcher with a 30-inch range, 4 attacks, AP 2, deadly 3, and lock on. That is always a fun thing to do. And really, if you're looking at the Triceratops carrying the giant rocket pack with those small little geckos hanging around it, that is everything that this army represents. It is ridiculous in the absolute and best ways. And if you're not looking to try to get this into your games, I feel like you're missing something important. So next up, we have the Spinosaurus. Now, the Spinosaurus is another one of those examples of if you're going to play this army, you owe it to yourself to get the Spinosaurus, to get the riders. This is such a cool model, and it has an armored lizard on top of an armored lizard. And again, that is what brought me to the show. That is what brought you to the show. If you're listening to this, it's because you think the idea of lizard people riding lizards is fun, and this is the model for that. So a Spinosaurus is a beastie guy. He's got a quality of 4, defense of 2. Comes in with 2 fearless, 2 fear, fearless, predator, and a 12 toughness. So he's another beefy guy. He's got a stomp that's 4 attacks and an AP of 1. He's got a toxic bite that's 6 attacks with poison but no AP. And he can spit venom at 18 inches for 2 attacks with a blast 3 and poison. Now, you can upgrade him so that he can have the primal roar from their army list. And you can also have him have a chief rider. Now, the chief rider will give you impact hits of 3. So it's 3 hits when he charges. And I don't know that it's the most cost-efficient thing to do, but the rule of cool says you should absolutely put the Chief Rider on him every time because that is the coolest way for him to run. So our last of our monsters is our Ankylosaurus. Now, Ankylosaurus is one of those things, if you had described this model to me, I'd have thought it was dumb, but it's just underneath too silly. So it's just silly enough that it doesn't ruin it. So our Ankylosaurus is the beefiest of the beefcakes that we've gone through so far. He's almost 500 points by himself with no upgrades. He has a quality of 4, a defense of 2. He's got fear 2, fearless. His heavy shield. He has a toughness of 12. He has a mace tail, 4 attacks and an AP of 2. He has a stomp, 4 attacks and an AP of 1. He has twin fusion cannons strapped to his back. Range of 24 inches, 2 attacks, 4 AP, deadly 6. That is a hero killer. Now you can replace the twin fusion cannons with a heavy plasma burster, which will give you a 30-inch range, 4 attacks with a blast of 3 and an AP of 4. So if you just need things to be removed, that is absolutely something that this thing can do for you. You can also upgrade him with an advanced locator, which gives him the beacon rule. Now, our last one to talk about is the Dread Titan. Now, this is the Titan warrior for this army, so you know that they are going to bring everything. Currently, on My Mini Factory, there are 2 variations of this that they sell. There's the Scorcher and the Behemoth. So know that there are a couple different ways to get this thing, and that it is pretty well the same with a couple of different rules for each variation. So let's start with the core Dread Titan stats. So you have a quality of 2, a defense of 2, you have fear 3, and tough 18. It is going to take some work to get this thing off the board. It has 6 stomp attack with an AP of 2. It has vicious jaws with 4 attacks at an AP of 4 and deadly 3. Now, you get 2 choices in upgrades. You have the Scorcher and the Behemoth. If you take the Scorcher, you add 6 more toughness. So you now have a toughness of 24. You also add the Scorcher Cannon. The Scorcher Cannon is an 18-inch, 8 attack, AP 1, blast 3, reliable. So that means this thing will hit on 2s. It has a 3 blast and you get 8 hits with it. Now, if you upgrade it with the Scorcher, it is expensive. It is very, very expensive. Your other choice is to upgrade it with the Behemoth, which is even more expensive, but gives you another 6 toughness, bringing back up to that 24. It gives you the Quad Beam Cannon. It's a 24-inch range, 4 attack, 4 AP, deadly 6. So that is absolutely the character killer. That might be the most dangerous character killing thing I've seen so far, and it's easily the most dangerous thing in this army, but it is also by and far the most expensive. All right, well, that's everything for today. This is Dorkness Inc.